Okay, so good afternoon. Looking forward to the game on Saturday at 6:30 at our home stadium. I'm excited about getting back at home for the next 2 weeks. Got a big opportunity this week to go play better than we did last week against Cal, have our Pac-12 opener, and have a chance to play good football in all three phases. Breast cancer awareness game this week, so a big deal here in Tucson to be able to help and bring education and knowledge about breast cancer to Arizona Stadium. So that's a big deal for us and for our program. Our kids will have some pink wristbands and some other stuff that it comes that's given to them. And then on top of it all, we know that we've got a good football team that is hungry for a win coming in town, a team that beat us handily a year ago, and we have to do everything we possibly can to play our best game on Saturday night.
What danger is presented when a team is desperate like they are?
Well, I think we're desperate. So we'll see what two desperate teams look like. I think that it's a situation where you're playing against a team that has lost to 4 teams that are 14-1, and they're probably hopeful to be able to find a way to get wins. There's 8 games left in the season for both teams, and the key is to be able to have the same mentality every game you play and never allow the team you play, the record of a team you're playing, to ever affect the outcome of a game.
You talked about the work in practice this week. You talked about wanting to work on assignment of lineman and gap defense. What did you guys work on this week to try to build that up?
Well, practice is always going to be about getting better and finding a way to improve in some of the areas where you struggle, as well as improve in the areas that you can continue to get better or that you're doing well. In that case, we're practicing as usual or typical fashion. Run game, pass lanes, run lanes, tackling. We emphasized tackling this week, added an extra period there, but a lot of it comes down to just execution, being fundamentally sound, and continuing to improve in that area on all phases. And that was our plan this week. And so far, Sunday's practice, Tuesday's practice, and Wednesday's practice have all been good on tape.
Can I follow up with that? Is that something that you can work on more in the study room, looking at the film putting out, or is it something that is more aligned with working on the field during workouts?
I would say it's both, that it's really important for us to be able to show the guys where there was a deficiency or where there was an error or what we could improve upon. You're able to point out pad level when you're watching film. You're able to talk about or maybe show a couple guys in one gap where nobody's in the other gap, and how you can be better, be more gap sound in that regard. And then you have to go on the practice field and do it. You have to be able to see what it feels like when somebody's trying to block you, and then still be able to do your responsibility. So it's both the film room and the practice field.
What's the status of Jackson Turner?
I don't expect Jackson to play this Saturday night, but we're still always hopeful.
So Isaiah Taylor taking over his spot then?
Isaiah Taylor would be the starting safety, yes.
And what ways have you seen him improve this year, and what did you take away from the Cal game?
Yeah, Isaiah, I think he had 9 tackles in the Cal game. He's active. He was very active all training camp. Thought he made a lot of great plays for us in training camp, and continues to show ways to be around the ball. He has a really good feel for the ball. He's communicating better and better. The more confident he gets, being able to make calls. The big thing about safeties are they're the communicators on the back end. And so Isaiah's done a really nice job there. And then also Isaiah is a great teammate, and guys like playing with him and being around him. So if Jackson can't go on Saturday evening, then Isaiah will go, and there's a lot of confidence there with our players and with Isaiah.
How different is the position that you would play Saturday night safety?
Ever since he's been here, he's played the middle of the field. So, for every practice, every scrimmage, all throughout training camp. So he's kind of been the post safety.
Jedd, what does Colorado do well on either side of the ball? They're 0-4, so has some stuff to work on.
Yeah. Well, I would say this, that, it comes down a lot to playing hard, and they do that. They play really hard. They certainly have guys that can disrupt your flow. They have a defensive front that can make plays that could stop you from big chunks of yards based upon their pass rush. They have a ability to play, tight man-to-man coverage, and they're not afraid to do that. And then on the offensive side of the ball, their quarterback threw for 280 yards, I think, last week, and completed a lot of passes. So they're gonna try to probably be balanced. I would assume they're gonna probably test our run defense, and then offensively or on their defense, I think that they're gonna feel really confident. The last time they played us, they shut us out.
Jedd, you have almost as many 20-yard gains through the air as you did all of last season, but nothing beyond 30-something. Is there an attempt to want to get more of those deep balls in there, or what do you think is not working?
Well, I would say in the passing game, I'm not really worried at all in terms of the difference of hitting a 45-yarder versus a 35-yarder. Really, the key you want to do is be able to get over 18 yards. Those are your real definition of explosive passes. I think we're one of the better teams in the country in that regard of being able to be explosive. Sometimes you just run out of field space. Sometimes I can't think too many times. We had a couple chances in this past game. We missed. If we threw the ball a little bit higher at T-Mac on our sideline, that would have been a 60-yard completion, the one that they knocked down, but it was we missed by about a yard or so. And then I think there's some times that it would be nice to be able to hit on I think Tanner probably has had a couple of the longer ones, if I was to guess. So, it's nice to be able to hit a receiver down the field on an over-the-top throw rather than a back shoulder. But I think those come. They come, and if we can continue to be efficient in the passing game, I'd like us to complete about 5 more passes a game. If we have the same amount of pass attempts, let's say, get it up to about 63 to 65%, and then hopefully a few of those will come with an explosive.
DJ Williams had only 2 touches last week, but they were both really big plays. He seemed to show some speed that maybe he didn't have when he first got here. Is his conditioning kind of up to par now, and how can we maybe incorporate him?
Yeah, DJ was coming off an injury a week before, so he didn't practice on Tuesday and Wednesday. He was coming off of an ankle. Thursday was the only day he practiced. We weren't sure exactly where his health was, so we tried to limit his reps in the game. Looking back on the film, we probably should have given him the ball more. He certainly has demonstrated an ability to run the football and run the football well, and he had a nice catch out of the backfield, which I think went for about 22 yards or something like that, 18 yards up the sideline there. So DJ's 100% healthy, and came out of the game actually feeling better than he did going into it. So that'll be exciting.
Can you give a little bit of detail on McCown? I know you touched on him, just the type of quarterback you've seen in film.
Of McCown?
Yeah.
I've seen enough of him to say that you could tell that he's been brought up in a football family. You could tell that he has a really nice poise about him. When he's in the pocket, he looks very comfortable. It doesn't look like some guys in their first couple starts or their first start as a freshman that they're going to look to run before look to throw. He looks pretty confident in there that he'll step up there and look to throw. Got a nice arm, throws a nice catchable ball left-handed. And, he's going to be a challenge. He's going to try to test our corners and test our underneath coverage, and it'll be a good test all around for our pass rush and also for our defense.
Did you ever encounter Josh McCown in your NFL journey?
No, and both of us have been on a lot of teams, but I know Josh just from being on different teams that we played him or have come across him. As a matter of fact, he was, when I was in New England, we played, he was in Houston, I think, at the time. But, I know Josh, but no, we have never really spent any time together in a coach-player relationship.
Who played Josh this week in practice? Left-handed quarterback.
We didn't bring any left-handed quarterbacks, and so our right-handed guys did.
This idea of kind of during the season, fundamentals versus game plan, how do you strike the right balance between those two? It seems like every so often a coach will say, we need to go back to basics. We kind of got away from that because we've been focusing so much on the other team. How do you see that?
Yeah, I think that is definitely said often. Traditionally, you could probably catch a coach. If you go back to all 12 of their press conferences or all 17 in the NFL, you're always going to find one or two of them that the comment's going to be made, we're going to get back to fundamentals or back to basics. I think what happens sometimes where the game gets away from you is when you're, during a week, so concerned about defending plays that you're talking more about the play itself than how you defend it. Because you defend it by playing with better pad level. You defend it by playing physical. You defend it by being fundamentally sound. You don't necessarily defend it by saying, we're going to call this defense. But some of us get, we all do it at different times throughout years that you say, all right, well, this is the play. This is how you defend this is the best call for this play. And you don't spend enough time focusing in on that true, hey, we got to beat a double team. We have to figure out a way to add another tool in our pass rush. And that's kind of when you bring yourself back to, okay, all's good. Now let's figure out a way to add an 8-minute individual period where we can talk about defeating a block.
The game time this week and next week, you got a 6:30 and 6 o'clock. And I know you're all about getting fans to come to the game. How much better is that if you get families to come because the game will start earlier and earlier?
Well, I hope that what it gives us this opportunity to, if they didn't want to, if let's say you have younger kids and you don't want to be out there till 11:55 or 12:10, I think were the two games, the Mississippi State and the North Dakota State endings. And you could now say the game's going to end at, let's call it 9:45 or 9:50, or then the week before 9:30, the next week 9:30. Like, hopefully everyone will come. And it's a great family environment. It's a great opportunity to bring your kids and bring your friends and your neighbors, and then hopefully the students will also benefit from the fact that the night ends at 9:30. They can go back and study immediately. So that's also a benefit. I think the library is going to stay open, so they can sneak away, watch the game, and then go back. Or they can go have a great time at the game, stay all the way through like they've been doing. So our students have been incredible. We need them to come out in full force again. And let's have an incredible environment at Arizona Stadium. That's the goal.
I don't think Colorado envisioned having to play the true freshman quarterback this season or this early in the season. You guys went through that kind of tumult at quarterback last year. How does that just kind of affect how you're, affect trying to win games when you've got that uncertainty or a lot of change at that position?
I'd say it's certainly challenging at that position when you're constantly making changes or in flux with your starter. We felt it all last year, knock on wood. We've been fortunate that Jadden's been able to start all 4 games and play the games in its entirety. But we also recognize it's a very violent game, and there's times that it doesn't necessarily work out for you. And I think that last year we faced it by having to rotate quarterbacks and only having 3 on our roster too, and they're now on their 3rd quarterback in their rotation, and I don't know what the order was to start training camp or now, but it's tough. It's a position-driven game, and the quarterback drives the game.
One more question. How would you assess Jadden's progression with pocket passing and presence from the beginning of the season to now?
I think Jadden's getting better every week. He is really working very hard on his fundamentals. He is one that we don't have to say we're going to go back to fundamentals, because we have focused consistently, daily, on his fundamentals. And you could see his drops are continuing to improve. When he runs forward. When he's in the pocket, he moves forward. And what Jaden has given us is a lot of poise and confidence. You know, he went 20 for 29 against North Dakota State. Then he comes back again last week and throws for 400 yards and, and does a nice job with his decision making. The 2 interceptions came on play 71 and 76 of the game when I think he was trying to, as I said to him today, we can't score 18 points on one throw. We just complete one and then go to the next and then go to the next and go to the next. And really impressed with how he's handled himself. He's everything you want in a quarterback, that's for sure. Thank you.